One of the best ways to begin building ultimate wealth is to get to know exactly how much you're earning, where it's going, and how much you're investing every single month. This is what we call knowing your financial playing field. And whether you use an Excel worksheet or online banking or online softwares like Mint.com or QuickBooks, you've got to find one that meets your specific needs. Or simply the act of writing everything on a piece of paper can actually be very liberating for a lot of people because you'll learn the truth about your financial situation. And when you know the truth, what that does is that eliminates a great deal of that confusion and the fear and the frustrations a lot of people experience around their financial wealth or their financial environment. So, number one, perform a financial checkup. It's important, at least in my experience, to perform a financial checkup throughout the year to ensure that you're moving in the right direction of winning your ultimate game of wealth. This financial checkup will also teach you how to master the financial game, master your financial playing field. And it's probably one of the most important tools that you can use to build wealth. Every single person that I know, including myself, does multiple financial checkups. So let me break it down to the simplest version. On a daily basis, what can you do? Well, I find that visualization is fantastic, meditation is great, listening to affirmations, or even some of the awesome brain softwares that are out there now that'll literally help you reprogram your subconscious mind around wealth. So that's a daily activity for me and for every one of the people that I've helped create wealth. Number two, take a look at what you do weekly. Check your cash flow, your income and your outflow. There's so many awesome apps that are out there now that you can literally in the palm of your hand have real-time financial data. So there's no excuse for not knowing what's going on weekly with your cash flow. So review all your accounts, all your investments, checking, savings, stocks, all these things, and be aware of how much cash you have on hand. You also, on a weekly basis, may want to look at your financial beliefs. I work with a financial coach who is simply somebody for me to talk to about my thoughts and my feelings and to make sure that I'm doing the things I need to, not just in my business, but in my personal finance on a weekly basis. On a monthly basis, meet with your spouse, your partner, or maybe a business partner or a mastermind partner to share where you are, what progress you're making towards your monthly goals. Review your financial portfolio. Touch base with your planners, touch base with your bookkeepers, review your credit card statements for accuracy. This is just a habit that will help you create wealth. And I found that people who do that are exponentially more likely to succeed than those who just kind of go day by day. Right? Now, quarterly and annually, make sure that you meet with your wealth team, whether that's your bookkeeper, your planner, your advisors. Review your real estate investments. Review your debt to asset ratios. Review any profit and losses in your business. Really take a look at how you're moving ahead. And it's a great time every quarter to realign your business based on the goals that you've set and the goals that you're achieving. Now, on an annual basis, I highly recommend that you conduct a year-in review. And I do mine typically in November or early December, and that's where I look back over the past year and make sure that everything that I could do has been done and that I'm also prepared for the upcoming year. So at the end of each year, and I'll give you a little tip here, at the end of each year, go to a prosperous environment. Why? Well, I am a big believer that your environment dictates your thoughts and your behaviors. And if you are in the same environment you're in every day, in other words, you're in your home or your office, you're not going to have new thoughts. You're going to keep repatterning and regurgitating the old thoughts. So go to a prosperous environment. Go to the top of a really nice hotel and look out over a city, or go to a place where there's wealth and abundance and visualize and set your goals for the upcoming year. Obviously, financial goals are one of those, but set your health goals and your happiness goals also. Another thing you want to do annually is complete a budget based on your goals and the outcomes that you want for your financial situation. I like to call a budget a spending plan because the way I look at it is this. Let's say that my goal is $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, or $10 million a year, whatever your goal is. I'm going to take 10% of that and I get lucky enough to invest that in stocks or bonds or real estate or anything that's going to grow more money. So right off the bat, I have a spending plan or an investing plan that 10% of what I earn is going to go into making me more money. Then I get to invest part of that with taxes, right? Because I love driving on these roads. I love having access to people who are running our country, and I'm willing to pay for that. Then I get to take a look at where I get to invest the rest of my money, which is all of the activities, all the experiences, all the trips I get to take, the beautiful homes that I get to live in, the cars that I get to drive. All of these are things that are going to require resources. So I plan for those. That's all part of my spending plan. I also look at my real estate investments so that I can look at what are the trends that are expected to happen over the next 12 to 36 months. Real estate moves a little slower than stocks. It moves quite a bit slower than any cash investments. But the beautiful thing is you can still predict what's coming up. And then one final thing to do annually is review all your insurances. Review all your documents, whether these are home insurance or health or auto or life or disability or liability. You'd be amazed that every year when we review our insurance policies and we call up oftentimes the same auto insurance company or life insurance and we say, hey, we're kind of shopping around. We're wondering if you can do better than you did for us last year. Almost across the board, they find a way to put us in a policy that actually saves us money. So it's just part of the game. We enjoy it, and we're constantly reducing the amount of money that we invest in those, but we often get greater returns. Now, one of the big keys to knowing your financial playing field is to know your debt. Whether that's unsecured credit card debt or whether it's a student loan or whether it's an automobile or real estate, it's imperative that you know your debt because ignoring your debt will only create a snowball effect in your life. I was listening to these studies the other day that said the average consumer who carries credit card debt will end up spending 9 times the value of whatever it is they purchased. So let's say that you bought a new TV and you paid $1,000 for that TV, or maybe you just paid $100, whatever. Imagine that if you paid $1,000 for that TV and you put it on a credit card that had revolving debt at around 20 to 22%, that TV would end up costing you 9 times the amount. That means that $1,000 TV would be a $9,000 investment, right? Now, if you only spent $300 on that TV, that means that you actually would be investing $2,700 for that TV. That's insane, isn't it? So you can't ignore your debt. You've got to know your debt, and you've got to put a plan in place to pay it down as quickly as you can. If you continue to let it snowball, you're going to find that it gets harder and harder and harder for you to ever get out of it. So, how do you get out of it? Well, number one, ask for help. Wealth is not a solo activity. It's a team sport. And so I'm going to be asking you to develop a wealth team. And the first step in this direction is to ask for help from a financial coach or a financial advisor or somebody that you trust, somebody who has great financial habits, somebody who will sit down with you and help you take the first most important steps. And oftentimes what they're doing is they're playing your financial therapist because your mindset is typically what has gotten you to this in the first place. The second thing is to clarify and simplify all of your accounts. I can't believe how many times I've come across people, and I did this myself, so I'm not blaming here or judging, but how often do we see people who have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 credit cards, and most of their time is spent managing these things instead of actually creating wealth to pay them down? So the best thing you can do for yourself is to do everything you can to consolidate your finances. Consolidate and simplify your checking, your savings, your credit cards. Maybe you have merchants accounts or investments or some kind of financial monitoring system. See if you can find a software that puts them all in one place, or at minimum a spreadsheet. All right? This will help you get a clear picture, an all-in-one picture, and it'll increase your chances of winning the wealth game. All right, so these are a couple of really simple steps. The last piece here that I would share with you is to begin using some kind of online or desktop financial software system. Maybe it's Quicken or QuickBooks or Microsoft Money or Mint.com. I personally prefer Mint.com for just putting everything into one place because it's free, it syncs with all my accounts, and what they've started doing recently is giving you suggestions on different products or services that will actually help you save more money or pay off your debt faster or move to other credit cards that will save you time and money. All right, so I am a big fan of beginning to use online or desktop financial software systems. And the fourth piece is this: be patient. Okay, I'll say it again: be patient. This module is dedicated to getting your entire financial portfolio in a polished condition, right? And it takes time. It's going to require patience on your part. Now, patience doesn't mean sitting back doing nothing, right? I'm going to ask you to take on projects over the next year. And at the end of the year, you're going to be in great financial shape. You're going to be way better off than you are now if you follow the guidelines that we're suggesting. So be patient, but be taking action. These kind of modules, by the way, are great to go back and listen to over and over again whenever you need to, for that constant reminder, for that constant sharpening of the axe, if you will, to make sure that you're chopping down that debt and to make sure that you are moving ahead financial. So I hope this was helpful for you to understand what to do and to know your financial playing field.